Yeah, I missed the sign, huh? Isn't this gorgeous? Well, you haven't been here. All you did was see this in the book to come and look at. Oh, you're a good tour guide.
On his map, he saw it.
You're a good tour guide. Oh, boy.
Fish jumping up that sucker.
Yeah, you can. They will. They'll jump right up that. How do you think the trout get up there?
What's the name of this place?
Thunderhead Falls.
There you go. Remember that.
I'll write it down, okay?
Are we going to walk? Yeah.
Richard, which side do I
Well, kind of get over in front of the falls. Come this way. This
A
way.
little bit more. A little more.
There.
Okay. Now, how would you like me to pose? Is this a good way? Is this the best? Uh-oh. I see. I see what you mean.
We're in the gold mine.
Gold maybe, huh? Oops, I'm sorry, love. Winter's running fast. Here, I want to feel it. I want to feel it. Oh, is that nice and cold? Woo! Is it? That's nice and cold. Oh, I
right there.
hold on.
And the kids would get to the top, and they were all the ready shoes. I said, you have to wear your shoes.
Real close. Oops,
Okay.
bud.
Okay.
Heck of a deal. Is Richard gone already?
Well, I don't know where. Maybe went to
Did
restaurant.
Richard get this
Do
already?
you have these things exploring the Black Hills? Do you need that type of thing exploring the Black Hills?
Welcome to Thunderhead
that?
Falls.
Here
You are at the entrance of a
There you go.
historic old gold mine. Today, you can step back across the bridge of time to the early 1880s. Gold was the mineral the miners were seeking nearly 100 years ago. This mine dates back to 6 years after General Custer's expedition passed through the Black Hills. Gold-bearing quartz veins appear throughout the tunnel. Living stalactites are clearly visible. Unique are the yard-long drill marks, a grim reminder of the tremendous task of hand drilling through solid rock. Blasting was done with black gunpowder, as dynamite was still unknown. The easy, hard surface, 600-foot walk along the rushing stream makes the adventure delightful and easy for young and old, and is climaxed by a gushing 8 cubic foot per second waterfall, Thunderhead. This mine is the oldest gold mine open to the public in the Black Hills area. Thank you. Are you ready?
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome, Thunderhead Falls. You're at the entrance of a historic old gold mine. Today, you step back across the bridge of time to the early 1880s. Gold was the mineral the miners were seeking nearly 100 years ago. This mine dates back to 6 years after General Custer's expedition passed through the Black Hills. Gold-bearing quartz veins appear.
Those sap and juice of the old oak.
Oh, it just came
Oh.
right up on you, didn't it?
And the guys were kind of up stacking the truck. And so the next morning when we go back there, I had all of my arms. And this guy, it was older fella. The older fella was my boss. Anyway, the boss had him. And he's like, how are you 60? And then, you know, it's a young person.
Find out where we're from. Oh, didn't they?
Just a minute. Hold on, guys. You
Stand
can't.
up in there. Too short.
Okay. Now I got you guys. All right.
That's
What the
enough.
heck?
We don't want to break the camera. Do we, Richard? No.
We'll have to get the train. You guys look like miners. Hey,
Yeah, we sure
hey,
do.
you guys, in 20 years, when you're so old and you can't even get out of your chair, you're going to love this.
I hope I never have to watch this video.
When you guys are old farts, when you guys are old farts, I'll remind you. I'm going to get you coming down.
I'm with you, bud.
Watch your step.
There's Dickie, Richie, and Bobby here at Thunder Falls. Good one, guys. What do you have to say?
Boy, that was a lot. It's amazing. You know, these people, the foresight that they had for all this stuff, for people.
That paper birch, you know how they peeled off, skin peel off the bark and that one. Now you get the picture of paper.
Where's Richard?
What is that?
Read that article.
Rose quartz?
Yeah, rose quartz, I remember that.
That's what it looks like?
Oh, they used them.
Okay, that's a fine grade granite. Yeah.
Should I go get it?
No, there's garbage right up here. We can just throw up in this up here.
You can take the cover off now, Bob.
Really?
Probably did.
No, you never done that before. Not at all. Here's
We don't need to go any closer than this, do we?
They said you don't need. Yeah, you can drive
You
in.
want to pay to go in here,
you know,
Just to see that?
You even sleep in your motorhome, good job.
no,
guys?
and then when
I
I
don't
was
Honey?
You want to pay to go in here?
Well, how much is it going to be?
I don't know.
park fee,
Well, we're here, I'd say let's
what
do
are we
it.
doing
Well-
here?
Well, while
What
we're
is
here,
it?
what are we doing here?
Because that's him right ahead of us.
What are we doing here?
Looking at Crazy Horse.
Oh, this is Crazy Horse.
You got your purse?
I bet they will. Okay, well, thank you. Ticket for you. Okay.
So we want to take the bus tour if there's $3 a person. To watch. Hey, we were right. Just making sure we have room for everybody. This map is your visitor's guide, Bob.
This is new since we've been here. It's been what, 2 or 3 years since we've been here.
Welcome to Crazy Horse Memorial, which honors the North American Indian, all tribes. It's a mountain carving and much more. This is how the non-profit memorial will look when completed, a vast educational and cultural center. It'll include the Indian Museum of North America and the University and Medical Training Center for the North American Indian. The focal point is the mountain, where the face of Crazy Horse was completed and unveiled in 1998. That was on the memorial's 50th anniversary, which included the first blast of the second 50 years of progress. Lakota elders picked Crazy Horse for the mountain carving, and they insisted the memorial be located in the Black Hills. The hills are revered by Native people, such as Olympic champion Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse Memorial, I think, needs to be, it represents two things to me. It represents the integrity of our elders who asked Korshak to build a monument honoring one of our chiefs in our Sacred Black Hills. And that is a commitment we should never lose sight of. Just as I will never ever lose the feeling, the sacredness of the Black Hills to me. our elders made a commitment. They went to Korczak to build a monument honoring our people, our way, our culture, our values. I think the elders were not only correct, I think it was visionary to put a man who I think is sacred, his image is sacred, and to place it in the Black Hills, which is sacred. It's the only place it could have been.
To carve the mountain, the elders picked sculptor Korczak Ciolkowski, whose physical appearance changed along with the mountain. Following his death in 1982, the project's been continued by his wife Ruth and their large family. In 1939, the sculptor's dramatic marble portrait of Paderewski won first prize at the New York World's Fair. That gave Chief Standing Bear and his fellow chiefs the idea to invite Korczak to the Black Hills.
You know, I've been an artist since I was a year old. I was born in Boston. I was brought up by an Irish prize fighter. And I always told him when I was 16 I was going to beat, well, I was going to whip him, that's all. When I was 16 I couldn't quite do it, so I left him. I went to work on the waterfront. And I always said I wanted to do something worthwhile with my life. And I wanted to become a sculptor. And one day when I was 13, I read about this man Baldwin carving a mountain. Little thinking that about 16 years later I was going to be working as his assistant on Mount Rushmore. And I got a letter from this old Indian I'd never met, Standing Bear. And he asked if I'd build a memorial to their people so the white people know that their men had great heroes also. Well, having brought myself up and being American of Polish descent, I thought it wasn't too much to ask for. And I had no place to go. So I decided to dedicate my life doing this.
Korczak felt both the glory and the tragedy of the Native American were reflected in Crazy Horse's short life and death. His sculpture shows Crazy Horse declaring proudly, "My lands are where my dead lie buried."
He was a spiritual leader, he was a warrior. He portrays what I see as a Lakota, a spiritual existence, a spiritual being. That was Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse was one of the strategists at the Battle of the Little Big Horn. He never signed a treaty and refused to live on a reservation. He was stabbed in the back by a soldier while under a flag of truce. Crazy Horse died on September 6, 1877. Korczak was born 31 years later on that same day, September 6th. Many Native Americans consider that an omen he was destined to carve Crazy Horse. The memorial began very humbly. Korczak lived in a tent the first 7 months. Like a pioneer, he cut trees to build a log studio home. There was nothing here, no roads, water, or electricity. When he started work on the 600-foot-high mountain, Korczak was almost 40 and had only $174 left to his name.
So you imagine how humble I started on the mountain. I stand outside with a sumo jacket, a hammer, and a steel. And I drilled my holes around 3-4 feet deep and blow them off. Then I bought an old compressor. It was 24 years old, an old Buddha. Weighed around 4 tons. And I put a pipeline 2,440 feet long from the compressor on the ground up to the top of the mountain. And I bought a jackhammer. Now this took 2 years to get all this done. And I bought another hammer, and then my steel. Dynamite is expensive, and my electric camp. So for the first 7 years, I climbed up 741 steps, and I carried everything up on my back. When I go up, I start the big compressor. I used to crank it, you know, and I put a 50-pound box of dynamite in one shoulder, and put a wire, a string of bits around my neck. Then I'd take maybe a native 10 or 12, 14-foot steel in my left hand, and that's how I start up the mountain. The old Buddha, the old compressor, was kind of decrepit, and I get sometimes part of the way up, and I just hear that thing go kaput, 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 kaput. Put everything down, walk all the way down the staircase, start it up again, crank it up. Wait there 5 minutes, start up the mountain, take everything up, go up to the top. It was quite a distance. Put all my things down, get my air valve cleaned out, oil the ham, pick it up, get my starter seal in it. Just after till one hole, get down about a foot, and you can hear the big Buddha, kaput, the kaput, the kaput. Down I go again. One day I did that 9 times. You know, that gets awful old. Oh, I tell you, that walk up and down there is terrible.
Korchak worked alone for years, but mountain goats kept him company. The goats loved the staircase, and they climbed it right along with Korchak. They've never left in spite of the decades of blasting. The old Buddha symbolized the severe financial hardship, but there also was joy. Korchak married Ruth Ross, and they began their family of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. Korchak even delivered one of them. There were so many kids in school at one time, they attended their own one-room school at Crazy Horse. They also learned by helping their parents in rather unusual ways.
Well, see now, you see why we had 10 children. They were all, the boys were necessary up in the mountain, and the girls were necessary down here to help mother with the visitors. That was rather hard work to keep on pounding that dynamite in.
The first blast took off only 10 tons. It was at the June 3rd, 1948 dedication, attended by 5 survivors of the Battle of the Little Big Horn. Comparing then and now shows the dramatic change, with more than 8 million tons of granite blasted off so far. The progress is measured in tons and in decades. The first rock removed was from the area in red, in front of Crazy Horse's face. It took Korchak 5 years working alone. Next, he leveled this area in red above the arm, which will be more than 200 feet long. Cutting the tunnel under the arm was the hardest part. When finished, that huge opening could hold a 10-story building. It took more than a decade to remove this area. It's in front of the horse's head, which will be 219 feet high. Korchak had blocked out much of the sculpture before he died. Since then, his family and others have removed over 1 million more tons. For size perspective, picture Mount Rushmore, where these marvelous heads are 60 feet high. All 4 heads on Rushmore combined would fit in just Crazy Horse's head, which is almost 9 stories tall. This huge bulldozer gives another size perspective. On the other side, one bulldozer did fly off the edge, but the lucky driver leaped to safety just in the nick of time. Crazy Horse is the largest sculpture in the world, on a scale higher than the Washington Monument or the tallest Egyptian pyramid. Overall, the Crazy Horse Colossus will be 563 feet high and 641 feet long. And the entire mountain is being carved 3-dimensionally in the round. The work on the mountain is done by one of the top explosives engineering teams in the country. They use small jackhammers and big hydraulic drills and a variety of high explosives. One of the finishing tools is a dangerous supersonic torch. Following completion of Crazy Horse's face, work began on the massive horse's head. It'll be 22 stories high. The ears will be 42 feet long, the nostrils more than 30 feet in diameter. All the progress is guided by Korchak's scale models and books of measurements he prepared for that purpose. 18 years younger than her husband, Ruth Shokowski has directed the project since Korchak's death. 7 of their sons and daughters work with her in a dynamic team effort. The visiting public also plays a key role because all the revenue for the nonprofit memorial comes from admissions, contributions, and gift sales. Crazy Horse is not a federal or state project because Korchak felt the interest of the public and not the taxpayers should finance the memorial. He believed so strongly in the free enterprise system, he twice turned down $10 million in potential federal funding. He felt the government would not complete the mountain carving and would not carry out the project's humanitarian goals. Ruth and their family share that philosophy.
The financial philosophy here at Crazy Horse has remained the same over all the years. Korchak believed in individual initiative and private enterprise. He didn't think that you had to stand around with your hand out waiting for the government to finance a project. This project has been financed entirely by people coming in here and with their contributions and ambitions. And it is not a federal or state project and will not be. We could go faster if we had more money, and it's people like yourselves who make this all possible. It doesn't have to be cash. Our museum, 90% of the items there have been gifts that we can share with others. We have a lot of equipment that has been given to us for the mountain. The explosives on the mountain are quite frequently gifts. And there are a lot of ways that people can help with things other than cash. People often ask when the mountain will be finished, and there is no definite answer, not because we're trying to be difficult, but it depends on the weather, it depends on finances, and Korchak always said it doesn't make any difference when it's finished. The important thing is that you keep on working and that there's always progress. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I love what I do. The magic that was here to start with has only grown, and it's just a wonderful life. Work is one of our greatest blessings. There's no question about it, and I love mine. And having the family together, and 7 of the 10 working with us, is just wonderful. The project at this point, and has been now for many years, is a family dream. The youngsters took up the dream as they were growing up. They have rallied around so well since Korchak passed away, and it's definitely a family project. And each one of the youngsters has a niche that they fill, a job that he or she does, and they can use their individual talents, and it's truly a family project. And it's wonderful to see them taking over so that you know there's continuity into the future.
Dad made it special, Dad and Mom made it special, and it's just that it's a dream, and it's a dream that can become reality. And it's important to be a part of that.
I do see it as something a lot bigger, and I see it as a lot more pressure on us to make sure that it keeps going. You have to work harder to keep it going. It's a lot more work than it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
To me, it's the only job that I want to do for the rest of my life. He left us a letter that he wrote in 1952, and we never saw it until after he died. And he said in that letter that you don't have to do this, but if, after I'm gone, you take up the task of doing it, don't ever let it go.
I think it was born in us, the ones that chose to stay. I think, I don't know about the others, but I'm assuming they feel the same way, that I don't belong anyplace else. I like to go and visit, but I belong here.
Always at the heart of the memorial is Crazy Horse himself. He is a hero to many people, like Olympic gold medalist Billy Mills.
Crazy Horse is my hero for many, many reasons. I'm a member of the tribe, Oglala Lakota. Crazy Horse is Oglala Lakota. And growing up, we hear about Crazy Horse. Just the simple fact when he is asked, "Where are your lands now, Crazy Horse?" And he points and says, "My land is where my people lie buried." I've identified with that. The memorial to me represents actually one of our greatest values, one of the greatest traits we can have as Lakota people, and that's storytelling. It represents the past. I like for myself as a Native person as a spiritual being, living a human experience. And the monument, Crazy Horse, represents the past, it represents the present, and it represents the future. It's, as Korchak has said so many times, storytelling in stone.
My lands are where my dead lie buried. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
I'm a storyteller. I'm a storyteller in stone. And when Standing Bear asked me to tell the story of their great chief who was killed many years ago, I want to tell the story of the North American Indian. I want to right a little of the wrong that they did to these people. Because this is part of American history. You know, there's an old saying, and I've quoted it 2 or 3 times in my life, and it goes like this: When the legends die, the dreams end. And when the dreams end, there is no more greatness.
We thank you all for coming. Now that you have seen the orientation program, there's a great deal more for you to see, and we don't want you to miss anything. The Indian Museum of North America, the outdoor veranda where the models of Crazy Horse are, and you can see the men working on the mountain. Be sure you see our home in Gorchuk Studio and Workshop. And in the Native American Educational and Cultural Center, there are Native American artists and craftspeople creating their work. Please take your time and see it all and make yourself right at home. And we hope in the future you'll come back as the years go on and watch the progress.
Folks, we want to thank you for coming. I'll open the doors when you come in. If you'll exit out the doors at the far end of the theater down there, that takes you to the wall of windows area. Great day.
It's a lot like these uniforms.
Really?
Yeah.
Those look like Keystone Cops to me.
No, those are Native
Just
Americans.
Well, they got badges on.
I know,
see?
but they were sheriff. Presbyterian Day School.
Oh, really?
That's what it says.
Presbyterian, huh? Did it say where this was at?
It doesn't.
Look at that sign right there behind the door. Look, read that sign right there. It says the winter of 72, 7. So it wouldn't have been here, but it's here. That's what you were here. June, May,
Curly. Is not straight. Might have been with a Minnesota. His mother committed suicide.
Yeah.
Our next rate case will be over to figure number 1 in about 6 minutes. We'll announce and open the doors when you go in. Racing the water comes down the small street. Well, folks, next door in case will be figure number 1 in about 5 minutes. We'll announce and open the doors when you go in. Racing are down by 3 minutes. That bus is a tour that goes up around
Taking the land. All right. The Indians got back with the casinos. They're smart. With the white man money.
The man behind the book says he was the most prolific Indian. I mean, that would be word I use probably exactly of the Indian culture. I think Sioux he was talking about.
Started their kids in school, or the Cherokee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, was it Bobby Mills? Bobby Mills?
Billy Mills.
Billy Mills. Did you see his story that I have?
This is Custer, South Dakota.
Your little love seat would be perfect in the
Custer,
house.
South Dakota.
I think it might be going to rain here in a little bit.
Boy, is anyone hungry? I want to go to
Because
the
it has, if you look at it, you
I
can
could
see
have
how it
something
goes
cold in the
southwestern.
Well, you do have something cold.
My little love seat.
Where?
Well, if you see it,
You serious?
you'll know what I mean.
Is it in your
It's a
living room?
his living room. And it's my feet, but here. Anyway, she says, I would
General
love to
store,
have that love seat.
factory
I said,
outlet.
well, I just love to let you have it.
Oh,
Love
we're
it.
going in here?
Winds are coming up. Oh boy. Oh, isn't that pretty?
I enjoy.
I got another one more wonderful day planned, and then I don't know what we're going to do Friday. We'll have to
She threw these wind chimes down on the floor right where we couldn't walk through, so I moved it over. I had the sweeper right in the way, so we couldn't get through that one, so I put a sweeper. It was.
They have pretty good salad, do they? I like it.
They do. There's some good stuff. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
And still standing.
In a way, it kind of looks like it's almost Japanese style.
Yes,
you know?
it does.
But
It was
the
built.
I can understand the Norway because weren't they the guys with the boats and had
Yes,
the big?
and if you go up there and turn it upside down, you can almost visualize it being a boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And with the little round portholes like that. But you see, that's what the Norwegians had. They were great seamen.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a lot of wood, so they built
Yeah.
their churches out of wood. And the Stavkirke, or stave church, refers to the architecture. It's poles or staves, you know. This building right here was built in Norway. And
It was
actually,
and brought
yes,
over here?
And brought over here and reassembled.
Really?
Oh, and really?
Now, what was it over in Norway?
It's called a stabur, and it's a storage building.
Oh, just a storage. Okay.
They store what has to be kept dry above and what doesn't matter down below.
Okay.
And in keeping with our Norwegian theme, we have a little museum over here,
Okay.
and that was actually lived in. It's a homestead shack.
Really?
Yep, and it was actually lived in, brought over here from Hill City, which is about 30 miles from here.
Hill City? Yeah, we know what's that.
And it's all furnished like a homestead shack
Oh.
might
Well,
have been
let's walk
furnished.
through there.
Yeah, so you're on your own, but we're here to answer any questions you have.
Okay. I guess all I can do is take a picture of the top of it.
Well, just walk out there in the
I'll do
field.
it here.
Beautiful country up here.
How they rounded everything off, Bob, like that? Yeah. Look at that. Big old bridge planks up there. Huh. I suppose that's the holy water.
It grows narrower and narrower as it rises higher and higher, pointing to the blue sky above. The details of the structure add to the impression of loftiness, as does the slope of the several roofs and the very shape of the shakes covering the roofs. There are 16,000 of them. Truly like the surrounding pines, the chapel in the hills may lift the beholder upward toward God. Perhaps the 4 dragon heads on the roof surrounding the upper gables caught your eye. They are similar to the figureheads which the Vikings of old carved for their longboats. Their appearance on the stave church may be in part a relic of pagan days in Norway, but they may also be there simply because the craftsmen who built the original stave churches, which you notice surrounding the lower gables, outnumber them, so that if the dragon heads indeed have a religious significance, it's still the crosses which predominate. At the very apex of the roof is that old Christian symbol, the rooster or cock. It reminds the beholder of Peter's denial of his Lord. The cock's crow brought to Peter's mind Christ's warning. The walkway which surrounds the church, called the ambulatory, had a number of uses. Partly enclosed, it protected the foundation from the elements. It provided a place where people could wait in inclement weather for the church doors to be opened. In it, the men left their weapons, which must not be carried into the house of God. You will want to examine the intricate carvings surrounding the main portal through which you enter. The elaborate intertwining of animals and serpents represents the struggle between good and evil, between the forces of dying paganism and the emerging power of the Christian gospel. And it is the latter which is victorious. As you look about you, numerous features remind you that this is in truth a Christian church, a place of worship and inspiration. As you face the front looking into the chancel, you see a simple stone altar, the center of Christian worship, which is adorned with a cross, a Bible, and candles. The lectern or pulpit reminds us that the reading and preaching of God's Word is a part of the Christian service. On one of the pillars to the right of the chancel steps is the baptismal font, where people are brought into the fellowship of Christ. Notice the small sliding door, about 18 inches square, to the right of the altar. When the door is pushed back, there is revealed an opening known as the leper's window. Through it, lepers could share in the worship services and receive Holy Communion. Denied admission to the church, they were not excluded from the sacrament of the Lord's Supper. As you stand at the center of the church facing the altar, you look upward and become aware of the 3 arches which separate the chancel from the nave of the church. They remind you of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The 14 X-shaped braces are carved to form beautiful crosses, the so-called crosses of St. Andrew. Tradition says that Andrew, one of Jesus' disciples, died for his faith with his arms and legs outstretched on a cross. The carved faces at the very tops of the 12 pillars, or staves, represent the 12 disciples of our Lord. The great staves at the 4 corners upon which the structure depends represent the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Many things about the chapel in the hills draw people to a sense of the nearness of God. Your visit here may have reminded you of the words of the psalmist. I was glad when they said to me, "Let us go into the house of the Lord." Please feel free to examine the intricacies of this unique chapel and meditate upon their meaning. And as you go on your way, may God go with you. May He go before you to show you the way. May He go behind you to encourage you, beside you to befriend you, above you to watch over you, and within you to give you peace. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
That's for the lepers. The one that's having the lepers. You have lepers?
Isn't that something? Okay, get the new car out of there.
Yeah.
Ramcor. Yeah, Ramcota. And we've been here all week. We've just kind of
right off the interstate.
Yeah. We've been all over. Every day we take off. Today's our last day. But you did.
Sometimes works that way.
Hey.
Tired, Ken.
Gonna have to put new clutches in all these, huh? After you get done.
Yeah.
Doing this kind of stuff.
Here comes two more, Bob. Hey, man.
That's a caddy. 1911 caddy.
Branches are going to hit the top.
This is more fun than... Hey, this is more fun than
Let's get out of here
Carter's
before-
Got Pills.
Let's get out of here before I run out of film.
This is neater now.
Yeah, that Pierce. Somebody hit a nice car in front of me.
No, look here. This one. It's just that road we went on.
We did too. The whole thing, not even underneath.
Oh, I got it.
I've never seen one of those run. That's the first one. Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
Holy moly. That's a machine. Watch out.
Steam your broccoli for you.
Oh my God. How many of those still in existence?
There's several steamers
Are there?
around. There's only one on this tour, but this is a Stanley. We've also got white steamers.
This guy probably knows. He's
That's amazing.
So the front is this burner to make steam to...
That's the motor under there.
They have white steamers too. When you go farther on water,
I'm done. I think I've got enough. Jesus. They just...
This one needs restored better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He isn't done with that
He
one.
belongs to a youngster.
Look at those skinny tires.
Yeah. That's what they had to run on. They were good for mud. These on the gravel.
See where it says golf course. Go that way. No.
Well, that's Highway 79. Hart
Ranch, yeah.
Do we want to go out that way?
Well, I want to see where this golf course is at.
Let's go this way for a little bit,
Yeah.
then we'll come back and go this way.
Okay.
This is Highway 79.
5 miles.
Huh?
5 miles. It said.
Well, Highway 79 is up here 5 miles?
Right. Mm-hmm.
They got a camping resort up here, don't they?
You shouldn't be. Well, that's right. See, we went up here and went across there, Bob. Too busy? Let's see how busy.
There's some houses out here.
Well, you could probably...
Condos. Are those houses or condos?
Stay there.
Holy moly.
Well, you think that people own them?
Well, I think so.
Oh, my goodness. I wonder if this is a private golf course or if anybody can play here.
Hart Ridge.
Is this all we're going to do? Well, where the heck's the clubhouse?
This must be it's a private golf course then.
Huh?
This must be a private golf course for these houses, like Wellington Green, they got that.
Yeah, I wonder if it is.
I don't think so. They're advertising 18 hole.
Ask her.
18 hole.
Right here, there's a lady sitting right here. Or right on the other side of this one here it
Dog laying out there.
is. Yeah, there she's sitting.
Well, that's really pretty.
Where's the clubhouse? Oh, you got to go out that way a little farther?
Yeah, if you're going to make a right turn on the exit, about half a mile down the city, you go up to the right.
I see. Is it a 18-hole golf course or just 9?
No, it's 18.
It is.
Hey, Dick, ask him what these things cost down there.
Okay. Can you give us an idea about what one of these costs? We see there's a couple of them for sale down there. What's one of these cost?
Well, between 215 and
300.
50.
Really, 215 to 250,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's more room between these townhouses.
There's more what?
If you think, it's like there's two families in this one here. And there's more room between the townhouses than many places.
Okay, I see what you're saying. In between them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We were just wondering. We didn't have any idea what kind of money they're talking about because there was two of them for sale down there.
Yeah. Once they're sold, I think it sold for $219 or something.
It did. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And they're well, they're building further down. They're building a couple more, but those are a little bit more expensive now.
I see. But if you live here, you can play golf free, can't you?
Well, you get. I think it is. You get a
Pay a membership, huh?
But 5 years, if you buy a new place, you can play free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Otherwise, membership isn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
Are you from around here?
No, we're from Nebraska. We're just up here. We're in our motorhomes and our trailer over here at Happy Holiday Resort. We've been up here for a week and planning on coming back maybe next year because this has really been an enjoyable trip. We've seen more things.
Oh yeah.
We've been gone every day for 8 hours going and.
Yeah, there's a lot to see, all right.
We saw more. I was through that wildlife loop 30-some years ago, well, about 72, right before the flood hit through there. And all I saw was donkey and buffalo. This year we saw more wildlife. Oh, bighorn sheep and mountain goats, turkey. We got a list of, we saw over 10 or 12 different wildlife through there. It just blew our mind.
Well, we get a lot of wildlife through here.
Deer, I'll bet.
Coyotes back in the hills.
Yeah.
And we always get raccoons come through and
Sure.
turkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just seen some turkeys go across. We just seen some turkeys go across the street.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
You
They're
weren't
probably
looking.
still there.
There's another new golf course that just opened. It's called Red Rocks.
Where, the other direction on that other highway?
Yeah, if you go up, you're on the Happy Holidays. That's across from Reptile Gardens, right?
Yeah.
If you go up the hill and the first left.
Back toward Rapid City?
Yeah, you go towards Rapid City. On your first left, right at the top of the hill.
Up there by Fort Hays?
Yeah, just the next one past the
Okay.
Meadows. You take that over, and you come out by a filling station.
Okay.
Phillips. And then you make a little left for about 3 blocks.
And there's a
then
golf
right
course there?
It's Red Rocks. And that was in the golf magazine. It's one of the
Really?
best new golf course.
Really? Is it an 18-hole golf
Yeah.
course? Oh.
So you can hire rough and everything.
Yeah, well,
But this is a real nice course.
I better bring about 4 dozen balls along.
But if you drive around, it's nice to see those
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well, thank you for your information, sir.
You know.
Holy shit! I would never think they'd cost that kind of
Talking about golf balls.
Cars.
You know, this tornado.
No.
The new balls are. But he did what? Put them in a wash? What kind of washing machine?
He just cleaned them. He said he put
Not
them
in his old lady's washing machine. Where'd the turkeys go?
Probably out.
Well, we'll have to think about that next year. If we come up here, you're going to have to drive off the goddamn thing. No alcohol allowed on course.
What?
No alcohol.
Oh shit, we can't go
These
up there.
people are total teetotalers.
What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I don't know, Bob.
No alcohol.
They just don't know how to have fun, do
No.
they? We talk like we're drunks. Well, I want to drive down that other road. Those are gravel going up to those houses, yes.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be on gravel. Ever.
I don't know where this sucker goes to. Oh, we'll drive out here a few miles. And look at those, I bet those houses are expensive. And a house like that sucker there is going to cost you $500,000, ain't it? Well, this is just a barn house. Yeah, that might not cost too much. Lots for sale. Build your own. So it came right down through there. I think that goes to Rapid City because that one guy was saying that he had like 3 foot of water inside of his house.
One is the third largest flood in the United States.
Oh, that is a heck of a pan right there, guys. Man.
You know, you see a lot of them people build houses like that with just one little lot. And they go, why would they get all that money they have to buy a house like that when they put a lot of somewhere country built?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's the brick right there, Bob.
It's all go together. Then when you make your cut chunks of your meat up, and celery and onion, and little lemon, and then little, it depends on whether you like mayonnaise or not mayonnaise. Best foods. I mean, not Miracle Whip or anything
Right.
sweet like that.
Real mayo.
Real mayonnaise. That's the one, Hellman's here.
That's what I buy. That's what's made in the potato salad.
Yeah, California's best foods, and out here is Hellman's.
Good.
So, and that does taste, it makes a difference.
Okay, Bob.
I do not like-
Frogs in my hands, and I've never got from.
No.
We're little kids.
Or is it a toad?
Or toad?
I don't know, because I don't touch them.
You can just see right over there exactly what we're doing.
Sure.
The Richards, they've been.
Open those. We've been having them closed.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Okay.
you gotta shut your. You got to open your curtains to look out.
Yes, I
When
do.
your curtains are closed, you can't see anything.
No, well, that is the reason why I
We
close
keep
them
these
on.
up.
This little girl was in the bathroom with her mom, and they were taking a bath, and she says, "Mom, what is that?" She says, "Oh, that's my brown squirrel." So that seemed to be. We've already heard it, so that seemed to be okay. So anyway, then a few weeks later, she was in a bathroom with Grandma, taking a bath and doing their little womanly things. And she says, "Grandma, what's that?" She says, "Well, that's my gray squirrel." She said, "Grandma, how come you have a gray squirrel and Mama has a black squirrel?" She said, "She'd cracked as many nuts as my gray squirrel shared with me grape juice."
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God! Are you recording these?
I got one. You have another one, Richard?
I should have wrote a lot of these down.
I don't see any picture. The lens is on.
Looks like Mars.
Big hill. You can, there you can see some. All the good stuff.
But it's hard in the car.
Are in here, so.
Yeah, this isn't a big enough spot here.
I know I can tell.
When you're filming. It's just a bunch of wrongs.
Well, you can delete out what you don't like.
Hello, Bob.
Hello. Just enjoying the scenery.
See this here? This is still your toothpick.
was this? 5 million years ago. 30 million years ago.
What do you think, Richard? I don't think anybody wants to cross that. I don't think so either. Oh, I don't know how they did it. They had to carry their horses, they did. Let's see if we can look up and go down
Like a bird, Margaret. Right down this road.
Zoom in on him. See him right there on the side of the...
Mm-mm.
There you climbing up that bush.
See that?
Oh, there.
Can you zoom in on him?
Can't see.
See
Oh,
him?
there he is.
Up the side. It's not a sparrow, is it?
No, it isn't.
Huh? Is it? No, it's too fast for a sparrow.
I'm going to take some here.
Look at that funny color. How different colors that is.
This will change. This will change.
Hope I got it anyway. Hope I had it on. Too. just recording. I don't know how it's going to turn out because I'm taking it from the front seat of the car. Nice curves, and we just see more rock formation. More rock formation, more curves. Just winding through here. Look at that one right there. $244,300 acres of the Badlands. This is Cedar Pass Lodge. There's the campground out here. Picnic areas. There's a visitor center here. Ben Rifle Visitor Center, Badlands National Park. I'm getting the sun shining on getting some RVs, but there we go. Maybe that's it. Right there. I can't quite tell. Whoops, we hit a bump. This is going to be bumpy. I can't help it, but I'm doing the best I can on the rocks. Oops, I got too close. This is why it makes us dizzy when we watch this.
Chimney Rock.
This looks like Chimney Rock. Gotta get it down, get a little closer view. Whoa, 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 bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. I can't hold
Look at
it
this
still.
one with the whole
Oh, I don't